Hi, this is J.D. Fagelson, the creator of Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, and you're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there's my partner in Mindcrime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben, Hare Krishna, Harley.
That's me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
How the hell are you, Mr. Ben Harley?
I'm doing good, Timo. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Still trying to wade through this this cancer stuff here with Angie, the chemo and the radiation. So, but I got good news report. As you hear this, it will be the last week.
Good.
That's it. So that's
good
let's
for
see
her.
Yeah, I'm tired of seeing her have to go through it.
She's gone through like a champ. She's done pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she had a appointment with the radiologist today, and he was really impressed with her. He was like, "You're doing really good." She's had a couple of symptoms, but he was very impressed. So it's not perfect and stuff, but I've seen some people, boy, that had to go through some of this stuff, and man, there's definitely different forms of treatments and things like that. Yeah. And some of them look rougher than others, but knowing when we were kids, Ben Harley, boy, this was bad stuff. Oh, this was bad stuff. And it's not quite, it's better than it was. So thank God.
Yes,
it's better than it was. Yeah. As much as the medical profession is maligned, and sometimes fairly so, there has been some improvements.
Yes, there has. Sure. So, for sure.
So we will, we're hoping for good results, of course, and we will get back to everyone. It'll be a few months, I think.
Yes.
Until you really find out anything. So, but we're going to come and see Mr. Ben Harley in Toodly-Doo in Toledo to come see your big wrestling event. What day? That is August 18th? Am I right on that? Oh, see, I'm getting good because I know I have to be there. So August 18th at St. Clement's Hall.
We definitely need our lawyer at this next show.
Oh, boy.
So you might be getting a little,
Well, you just had a wrestling event.
Yes.
So you got to fill me in so that I'm ready to go, so I can do some studying. I got my law books ready to go.
Yeah. Well, we took on that old fossil Ray Orndorff.
Yeah.
We were fixing on shipping him off to the Smithsonian, but he snuck through us, I will say. So. We didn't end up on the winning side of that last. No, but that's all right. The belts weren't on the line.
Oh, they weren't. So, it was a non-title match.
Yeah, it was a 6-man tag match. And I was supposed to get in there and wrestle, but I had a doctor's excuse. And my doctor said,
"You had a note from your mom."
Yeah, I got a note. From Mrs. Epstein.
I got a note.
I said, no, wait, I got a note, and I can't.
I got a note from Epstein's mom.
I can't wrestle tonight.
I can't wrestle tonight. I got a note from Epstein's mom.
So I got out of that one.
You did. What did you do, throw Kevin to the wolves? What'd you do?
Yeah, poor Kevin. And then
that's a trooper.
They actually, since we actually stole Sullivan away, but they came to our house, right? And but they actually took Kevin away.
What?
They stole Kevin away there. Yes. Yep.
He's got like a $500 a day crack problem. They're not going to be able to afford to keep him too long.
No. And there's another new video that is coming out, so you'll have to see. It's kind of silly. I won't say it's not quite the same director as the last one, because that guy, he went on to bigger and better things. I think it's hard to.
Okay,
but yes, Timo. So Circus of Pain will be back on the 18th, though.
Okay.
I went in and made sure. I said, "Now listen here, pal," and that's exactly what I said to Andy Shane. After I was picking myself up off the ground, I said, "Okay, just listen, my good friend. No, I said that. Yeah, I was just double checking. I said, now that we're on the card. I said, because I have some very good friends coming from a very long way. I said, listen, you want to wrestle them? You better be on the card. So
you don't want to wrestle them.
Yeah, you don't want to wrestle them.
We don't play fair. We fight dirty. You know, we make Ric Flair blush. Okay.
That's right. So yes, very excited about that, Timo. You guys coming up. It's going to be. It should be a doozy. But yeah, I'm about to put my foot down or my cane down. Actually, my staff broke.
What?
Oh,
baby.
Yes. Well, the skull it's salvageable. Let me say, but my staff broke. Yes, my power. Oh, it was yes. I left there a little disgruntled. It was funny though, but I got
Thor's hammer.
Yes, Samson's hair. So yeah, it was funny because old Dan, the referee, old Slippery Dan.
Oh, Dangerous Dan Magoo.
Yeah.
Oh
Dangerous
no.
Dan. Yeah. So that was funny because I got to chase him as once we lost, and my staff is broke. Who else are you gonna go after? But that stupid ref that caused all that.
It's the zebra. He's got to go.
It was funny. So I pulled one of those and he, and I went in the ring and chased him around the ring and chased him out and then chased him out of the, So it was that.
You gave him a Hogan?
Oh, I got him.
That's against your religion, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I said so he split. Yeah, he beat feet. But yes, Timo. But yes, exciting stuff. Good time. I'm excited about you guys coming too, buddy.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be a very good time. So we're gonna see that, and we're gonna go see Rhino's Boatyard, I think, too. So
yeah.
I did shoot him a quick little note and told him we were coming, and he said he was looking forward to seeing us and asked how Ange was doing.
Epstein to send to him. Epstein's mom. You sent him a note too. All right.
I say, hey, Rhino.
Yeah.
Rhino, I got a note from my mom. So yeah,
that would be fun though. But yeah, I might like to take that trip up there with you too, maybe to see it or something.
Yeah,
maybe. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm trying to plan some stuff. Get you over there to the zoo down the street here, since you like zoos. Right?
You're trying to keep me there is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm not to interrupt, but to completely cut you off and interrupt here.
Yeah.
I discovered something this week. I did text you about this.
Yeah.
And this is one of those whoa moments. So
yeah.
What was it, last week or the week before? Maybe we were reviewing Witchboard.
Yeah,
Witchboard. And you got real upset with the cop.
Oh,
kept calling him Columbo, I'm telling you.
Columbo.
And I like Columbo now. Come on.
Me too.
Okay.
I love Columbo.
All right.
And that's what was upset me because this guy was a flunky.
All right. Well, he was Burke Burns, if you remember. Burke Burns. We had a little fun with his name. Well, I found out, I discovered that Burke Burns was the guy in Prophecy who's out with his kids and they get sleeping bagged.
Oh man, yes.
That's the same guy.
Well, yeah, it's funny that you sent me that message. I was like, holy crap, man! There's one for the Bolts.
Right. Yep.
Pulled that out.
Yep.
And and it's funny because that scene from Prophecy or the family or whatever, that never forget that.
No, God, that's the memorable. That's the most memorable thing in Prophecy.
Yeah,
is a sleeping bag moment. Yeah,
Oh, it's still like one of the best in horror history too. Like,
they really intertwined that really well in those old trailers. You remember the trailers when they would make that look really surreal and dreamlike?
Yeah,
in the trailers, and it just really freaked you out. Like, what is going? And made it look like Phantasm, basically. Yeah. And then you went and saw the movie, and it was like, help me.
Boom! Yeah. Fast and in a hurry.
Yeah, exactly right. But just thought that was fairly interesting.
Made you want to go camping, didn't it, Timo?
No, it didn't actually. Let's see. Well, that was very interesting. I found that. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, because I was like, you're just making fun of the guy, and the guy was in Prophecy. That's kind of like against our religion. Make fun of
that is against our religion. Yeah,
in Prophecy,
foot and mouth right there. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Robert Foxworth is safe on this show.
Safe,
just because of that. And he's in Omen 2. So he can be safe because of that too as well. Robert Foxworth. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's move on, Mr. Ben Harley, to stuff I watched this week. I'm going to run through them as quick as I can, as always, and it'll be too long as always. So I'll be doing a lot of editing.
Okay.
Slick editing, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see. First up, from 1972, watch The Train Robbers. With John Wayne, Rod Taylor, Ben Johnson, Christopher George. Ricardo Montalban.
Oh, wow.
And this is the reason I'm telling you, Anne Margaret.
Oh, love me some Anne Margaret. Oh, now you had to say it.
Just stop. Anne Margaret.
Yeah.
Moving on, Mr. Ben. That's all I want to say. That's the only reason I even mentioned it. It's a Western with John Wayne. So, you know, it is what it is. But let's see, moving on. From 1993, Mr. Ben Harley, me and Angio watched the remake of The Vanishing, which to America probably is known as The Vanishing, with Jeff Bridges and Kiefer Sutherland in it. But it's a remake from a movie from the Netherlands from 88. And I liked the original. It's one of those movies you watch once, and it reminds me of a long Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me of. As a matter of fact, I think there actually was an Alfred Hitchcock episode that's very similar to this story, this movie or whatever. And then this is the American version. Now, normally, me being a movie snoot, little snooty, Mr. Ben Harley. Little snooty. I just bag on this for no reason at all, but the actual director, I think his name was George Sluizer. He was the director of the original. He did this one as well. Now, the studio did tinker with it a bit, and they did change the ending, which was the punch of the original. Was like the ending. So they totally screwed it all up, of course. But
haters hating.
But I gotta tell you, there was a part that had me almost in tears laughing.
Okay.
So Jeff Bridges plays a creep. Right?
Yeah.
He's the creep of the movie. He's the bad guy. This is not a secret. This is not a swerve in the film or anything. You know this from day one. So he likes to chloroform women, and he likes to you know, do his thing after he chloroforms them. Doesn't want him to put up a fight. So he's about ready to chloroform a woman, and he sneezes into his chloroform handkerchief.
Knocks him out.
Oh, I thought that was hilarious. I mean, I was like,
that is awesome.
It's just this moment. It does not fit the rest of the movie at all. But it's this moment where it's like, oh God, whose ever idea that was? Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
That's funny.
See, moving on, Mr. Ben Harley, from 2005. I don't know why I did this, but I subjected myself to the movie Man Thing.
Oh, really?
Based off the comic book?
Yes.
Did you see it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I have. Yes. Moving on right now.
It was supposed to be taking place in the South in the swamps. Never mind.
Yeah.
It was made in Australia with everyone trying to sound like Southerners. Southerners. Excuse me.
Yeah, geez.
Excuse me, mate. Oh, sorry. Excuse me, mate. Anyway, it's awful. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those movies. It's just a typical horror movie, like Swamp Monster. So it's like, okay, but this is Man Thing. Man Thing was one of the coolest comic books of all time.
Yeah, it was.
It might not be your favorite, but if you ever read either Man Thing or Swamp Thing, DC or Marvel's, they both were the most brilliant comic books if you're into anything dark or spooky.
Yeah, they really pushed the limits with that stuff. Yeah, a lot. And they did. It wasn't one of those that are like, oh yeah, let's just not pay this any attention. No, they really did a lot with those, and which was great. It made it even more fun.
Those were the only comic books when I was a kid that I would legitimately read.
Okay,
because I would look through the other comics, but I just want to get to the fight. I just wanted to see. That's why I was a Hulk fan. I was a big fan of the Hulk because I just want to see fights. I want to see battles and things like that, you know. So Doctor Strange was never my favorite because he didn't fight. He argued with his powers, you know.
A lot.
So, but what a goddamn disappointing movie. But God, I remember when it came out, it was disappointing. And it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's got Jack Thompson in it, for God's sake. And anyway,
a lot of those early Marvel ones. Not to be mean by any means, I wanted those to work, but some of those ones were some were bad.
Absolutely. Let's see. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley, from 1990. I watched The Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, Pink Floyd thing?
Well, this is a Bermuda Triangle Satan in space movie. One of those.
Okay.
Deals. Yeah.
Better than Jason in space.
No, it's the spaceship, and they find something on the dark side of the moon that got lost on the Bermuda Triangle on Earth. So from the Bermuda Triangle It goes right over there, and it's a lot of devil stuff, a lot of Satan shit in it. Yeah. So, what's cool about the movie is that the production values are great in it, though. It's 1990. Okay. I think it went straight to video. If not, it got released in a drive-in somewhere like in Paducah, Kentucky, or something. But it's I'm making that shit up. I have no idea if it ever actually was released, but definitely a video shelf movie. But it did have the production values. It just had a cast of a couple character actors and a couple of unknowns. It did have what's his name, Joe Turkel in it. I believe it was in The Shining, and then it had John Deal. I do like John Deal. That's what that's. But anyway, it's all right. It's trying to be brainy in 1990. I don't remember anybody having a brain back then, to be honest with you. No. And I miss that, by the way. So
me too.
Let's see. Moving on real quick, Mr. Ben Harley from 1947. Watched The Red House.
The Red House.
The Red House. We might have reviewed this. It's got Edward G. Robinson in it, and he lives out in the outside of town. Okay. He's kind of very separated from everyone else. There's like a little dirt path that goes to his house. They built it before they had cars, stuff. Okay. So it's a kind of a gothic movie. And he keeps telling people do not go in the redwoods because don't go in the woods. There's a house that's haunted, basically. So this is a gothic, spooky kind of mystery. It just oozes of dread, but it's just really good. It also co-stars one Rory Calhoun, who you might know better as Farmer Vincent.
Love Farmer Vincent.
Yes. And last up, Mr. Ben Harley, I got through this quick. Yes, that was good. Last up, did watch On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Legend. Now, did you watch both?
Yes.
Both the episodes? So now we are both caught up.
We are both caught up.
On the Trail of Bigfoot. Now, let's start off by saying this. What was one thing that stuck out to you? I saw Jeff Byers.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, holy cow, it's Jeff Byers. There he is.
And it's funny because I said that, and there's someone said, I was like, those things I got out front, those Bigfoot sculptures? That guy right there. Yeah, he does those. Well, I said, he doesn't make them, he sells them. And I started saying, for like 2 years. And I think they started to blank out on me at that point. Right. He was in the second episode.
Yeah, he was in the second episode when they were actually on the search. So, but what I kind of made me feel good about it is like, I think I'm a pretty good judge of character because and you did too. We both were always very drawn to Jeff because he's a very upstanding, cool dude. Yes. You know what I'm saying? He's just a cool dude. He's got there's no complexities I'm finding that are really strange about Jeff. He's a nice guy and he's not a nut job. I like this guy on my side. He is like the civilian version of Jeff Meldrum.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
And the thing too with him is that this guy has patience because he was doing the conventions, for like 2 or 3 years before he even had product. He was out there selling, not taking money, here, buy this and
right.
No, selling what was coming and stuff. And I could tell this guy's, he's got a good head on his shoulders. You know what I mean? And then the more that you and I got to know him and meet him and stuff. And also he's about the business, but it's not like he's gonna like not stop and talk to you for a second or something. But he's smart character when it comes to that stuff. So I knew this guy's got, a level head.
Right.
And then from what he was started to tell us though, about some of the stuff that he's seen and things too recently, just kind of blew my mind. It was fun for us to sit and talk about it.
Yeah. Well, and he's a good guy. He's not the kind of guy that he's not the kind of guy that appears to me to go looking for drama and trouble and controversy. No. He's just he's interested in something. He's a creative guy and he's out there and he's one of the few people that actually I have enjoyed talking to about the subject. And I don't enjoy talking to many people about it because it's hard to get on the same level as someone else about something where you can't even grasp what it is.
Exactly.
And Jeff has always been just really easy to get along with and talk to and just be a cool guy. He's the kind of guy that I'd invite to dinner.
Yes.
And I don't invite anybody to dinner, Mr.
I still haven't got invited. Dang, I've been working on it. I'm working on my manners and everything.
Angie had to marry me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll cook myself, damn it. Yeah. But it was very, I just wanted to point that out. I guess what I'm saying is, given both these episodes.
Yes.
I'm glad we're friends with him. And I'm glad that he's in this. And I'm glad to see who he is rubbing elbows with. And I'm not disparaging anyone because we're not far enough in the Bigfoot community to be dramatic or have drama with anyone. I don't know things. I know there's drama because it's a bunch of people. So I'm just assuming there is. And I've seen a little bit of this and that, but I got no idea what the hell people are talking about. I don't know what people are talking about. But what I'm telling you is that this guy is a good guy. And it was very cool to see this. And given that it was in the second episode I saw him, and you heard my reaction last week to the first episode, right?
Yeah.
I've never given a praise like that to a Bigfoot documentary. Okay?
Yes.
Never have done that. And to see him pop up was like, oh, what a good feeling.
Yeah. Yes.
Just see Jeff there. I was like, good people. Yes.
And I was thinking about it that too. I was like, from what he was telling us, and I was wondering, like, if these some of the different people that he's gone out with, or
right.
Some of the,
Well, we've met the other guy too.
Yes.
Oh boy, the gentleman, I can't think of his name, but from the Ohio Night Stalkers. He came up to our table at Horror Hound. Angie remembered him too.
Yeah. Yep. And that the documentaries both were really good. I watched them almost back to back, and I really did enjoy them. I like the fact, and for me too, just the fact that these guys, that the Seth Breedlove is doing, and I'm sure he's doing well as far as, because the documentaries are getting better and better. The production's better and better. They're written better, which I like. I think is awesome. And I'm really happy for him. And I'm happy for like the cryptid community too, to have someone like that on their side, or our side, right?
Right.
So, but I like his approach to it as well.
I do too.
Some of that stuff was really interesting to me, but then again, there are many things out there that are interesting to me, but then again, they could either be hoaxes or recordings of something else. You don't know because you're not there. But I did find really interesting with him finding the site of the log cabin, the original, and
what was it,
Ape Canyon?
Ape Canyon, yeah.
And ever since I was a little kid, that was one of the most fascinating stories to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's lasted as long as it has. When I first started getting into Bigfoot, that was one of the first stories I'd read. And it just blew my mind, scared me to death. And I said, and back then I was like, we've talked about before, I believed in Bigfoot wholeheartedly back then. I didn't know it was, I saw it on, in these books. I've read about it and I've seen the Patterson Gimlin film. And
right, to you, there was no controversy.
No, I'm second grade, stuff like that. You're like, and I remember reading that, and where I was reading it, at Beverly School in our library, and just being fascinated by that story. I still am. And it was kind of cool because they mentioned some more stuff in there, different things that happened that they didn't have in these stories that I've read over the years, which I thought was very interesting. And they went back and even found the work dates that they were actually there, those, and so that was cool. That was really well. I think it was really well done. I was very happy and proud that Ohio was represented as well as it was too. And it doesn't make me feel like such a goofy goober to be like, hey, I want to go from 2 hours from here, an hour and a half from here, and be where a lot of these sightings have taken place too,
Right.
Now if I want to go 3 hours or more plus down south, there's a lot more too. And just like a lot of those guys got started too, they're like, and Tim, I don't know if you can back me up on this, but same, I guess for me too, I didn't think Bigfoots were around here, really. I thought same thing. It was Canada or the Pacific Northwest. Nowhere here, you know what I mean? As a kid, it would have blown my mind. And I think back then I would have been much more curious about things in my own backyard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not here in Toledo so much, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, in my own. Ohio's big, but it's not that big that I haven't been most places in Ohio, you know.
Well, we're pretty close to like the Ozarks, and then even the Illinois gets to be like, especially the bluffs and stuff. It's very, very wooded. And we did have a couple stories since I was a tot that we heard around here about something like that. I don't remember it be calling Bigfoot. I just remember I honestly remember just hearing stories about something big. Yeah. You know, that was really about it. The thing with me about this whole show was that I loved the honesty and the nakedness of the whole thing. I just liked the fact this was no fluff piece. But it wasn't a hatchet job either. It was what we used to call, and what our forefathers used to call, journalism.
Yes.
It was going into a subject open-minded and just letting it take it where it goes. I mean, he even tried as much as he could. He even tried to be respectful to the people that have the maybe more, let's say, colorful theories about Bigfoot.
Yes,
you know, they did give him a platform. They did let him speak. They kind of, you got the sense that they weren't into that, but here it is. You know, here it is. I mean, it's right here, and some people are surprised that that's where they are in this search for Bigfoot or Sasquatch, or what you want to call.
What I like too is I liked that they're out there for longer periods of time, and also with you can't go out there for one night.
Yeah,
well, you can, but you know, and you're going to be lucky.
Yeah.
But I thought it was super interesting. But that was a lot too, where they had the rocks thrown.
Well, that was yes.
And you notice how they were calling them not jungle gorillas or what were they called, wood monkeys?
Wood ape.
What were they? Wood ape. Yep.
Yeah. Wood ape. Yeah.
Which I found interesting.
I did too.
I found interesting too. Which, hey, I want to go hang out there for about a week or two. I would.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah.
That'd be fun as hell for me. Well, I don't want to get hit by a rock in the head or anything. But.
Well, that was probably the most interesting thing to me. You know what I appreciate about the show is that they talked about their experiences, and when they said they had recordings, they really let you hear them.
Yes,
they put it front and center and saying, "Here it is." They weren't like hiding them. They weren't doing this, you know. Because I mean, I've had people. I have had people tell me that if you go on YouTube and stuff, these are respected people in the Bigfoot world. You know, if you go on YouTube and stuff, and forget it, it's probably a hoax if it's out there or whatever.
Yeah.
I got news for you right now that if you got evidence you're hanging on to, there's something funny about you too.
Exactly.
Because if you're just out to make the money, then at least admit that you're just out to make a profit. And I'm fine with that, by the way, as long as it isn't fake. It isn't fake. I'm fine with that. That doesn't matter. But the thing is you start treading shaky ground when you start judging other people who are interested in something that to this point is basically a myth.
Yeah.
You're on a little shaky ground, if you ask me. But I like the fact that they were talking about things that I talk about. And I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm saying that you got to sit back sometimes and use your common sense. It's just like the daytime. The one gentleman who was talking to, he said, I'm not one of the people who go out at night. I don't think there's more sightings during the day. Well, you can see more during the day.
That's true,
and you can get fooled so much easier at night, which is why I think a lot of people like to go at night.
Yeah.
They get more, quote, action.
Yes.
You sit in my backyard at night with me, Harley, you're going to get action also.
You're going to get some action.
You're going to get a lot of action.
It's that damn witch, that bridge witch.
It's the Saxtown witch. She's all over. I just like the fact that everybody was kind of laying their theories out there. And some of the ones I found outlandish, I still respected the people for laying it out there saying, look, I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I want somebody to tell me that. I know it sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the guy who had the frequency problem with the Bigfoot. I had to turn that shit off. He was like, wow, I'm not crazy. It's the way things are. You're crazy. You're crazy. You know, it's like, no, you're crazy. You know, you might have seen something and thought that you were having a high frequency moment. How the fuck you know that, man? What did you have an O-scope? You tied up to your nipples or something? I mean, come on.
They even opened this up to the UFO stuff too.
They did. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the more paranormal and supernatural stuff. I just enjoyed the documentary. This is the kind of stuff I miss. Yeah. And they did go out a little bit, but they didn't dwell too much. I have to admit, when we started watching the second one, I was like, nah. Here we go. Here we go.
The second one wasn't quite as good as the first one, but like the last about 15, 20 minutes really was good. I really think this is a documentary, if anybody's even remotely interested in the subject, would enjoy. I'd tell you what I enjoyed about it is not having the commercial breaks like they would have and most of these shows that we watch.
Yeah.
And the guys showing me exactly what they were supposed to show me, but they pulled the rug out from under me at the commercial break. So then we got to go back and explain what they're going to show to me for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the next thing, and then finally show me.
Right.
When I don't even care about what they just showed. I was just like, oh God.
Right.
It was nice and refreshing. So I guess.
I think this is something that what I like about it is this is something that you suggest to someone if they give you the look. Like when the eyebrow goes out, like, oh boy, here we go. You're crazy. No, this is the kind of thing I want people to look at, saying, no. Look at this. People, what they don't understand is when you've actually went to something like the Bigfoot conference in Ohio or something like that, and you've stood and talked to these people.
Yes.
These people yourself.
Yes.
You know who these people are. You know their idiosyncrasies. Just in general, just like being around them and actually talking to them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I don't know if that person's lying. That person might be. I don't know about that person, though.
Right.
There's just no reason for it. They're not looking for anything for it.
No.
That's what people don't get. It's like you're only seeing what you see on TV, as always, or on your phone. But you're not there talking to people who aren't taking selfies with Bigfoots. The people who are quiet about it.
Right.
Those are the people that are really interesting. They're really interesting to talk to. I will tell you one thing, and this is a fact. You can't argue this fact. You don't know it doesn't exist.
Right. Exactly. You don't. Exactly.
And I've seen I know a lot of people, a lot of people that have seen it. They know it exists.
Yep.
I'm not one of the people who have seen it. I can't say that I know it doesn't exist because I know that person had no reason to lie to me and had no way that they made up that story.
Sure.
And that's all I'm going to say. And some of those people are on these videos. And I've heard it. And you've heard it too. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now that this is something to show someone if they really want to debate this. You have that friend that needs to debate the shit with you till they're blue in the fucking face. Just watch this. This is where I'm coming from. And they'll come back to you with all kinds of nonsense, but you'll at least let them see this and let them understand. They'll feel it. They'll get it. They'll understand. They'll be like, okay, you're not crazy. You're just leaving that option open. And I understand. And it's like, why is it so impossible? I just don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, that is what this is. And it's a very well put together 2-part documentary. It is on Amazon Prime. This is one of those ones I might go back and just buy just to support it, which I have done. Yeah. I did that with that. What was that movie?
Something in the Woods?
No, well, I did that too. But the one, the one where the photographer guy, the whole town in New Mexico got wiped out.
Oh,
and it was like the fake documentary. Savage Land. Oh, that's it. Yeah. So it's like Savage Land. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But anyway, and I would do that with this too, just to support the damn thing.
Sure, why not? But I give this Seth Breedlove all the credit in the world. And what I like about it mostly, too, is he went out there just saying, like you and I talked about, he went out and started asking people about these stories and just driving around and finding these stories. And it's not that far, actually, from where I'm at. And it was cool because he's skeptical, a healthy, like yourself, a healthy skeptic about it. But why is the possibility of it so unbelievable to some people? Well, and that's me. I'm more of a believer. You know that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the one thing with me is the rocks that are the audio of the rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's like
insane,
people are like, well, that could be
man.
fake. It's like, I don't really know if you'd go 50 miles in the woods and throw a rock on a tin roof.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a fucking break. I mean, come on. No, I don't think that at all. And I know Jeff, and no fucking way. No way. No, I don't believe that for a heartbeat.
No.
That's very interesting to me. The noises, the cries, they're
Yeah.
interesting to me. But again,
But it could be something else. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, to me, that sounded like an animal or two in distress.
Yeah.
Like a large, I don't know, deer or something. But I wasn't there. I can only hear what I hear. And I'm sure when you're there, it gives a whole
Now,
different.
they talking about some mimicking too in that one where one mimicked?
Yes.
Which I thought was pretty interesting as well.
Right. But he saw it doing that.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
The difference
And I
is he
thought that was
saw
cool,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and I thought that was cool.
fine.
And I can dig that. I could see how I got my little chipmunks out back and they mimicked the birds to scare the birds away.
Right.
Oh my God. I've always thought it was this bird for years. And I finally just found out it's this little ass chipmunk that's been, they do it. It's funny. And that's how they drive these birds off. But anyways, such a good documentary. Really good.
It is. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Highly suggested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bravo.
most
I'm gonna have to shoot Jeff a note. I saw you on my TV.
I
saw you on my TV.
Yeah.
So very cool. And hello, Jeff. And we'll have to get with Jeff soon. Hopefully I'll see him, and I'm going to go to Horror Round in Indianapolis. So hopefully I see him.
That's right. Yeah.
Hopefully I see him there. Hopefully.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's.
So, but let's. Well, what do you got? You got a couple things you watched?
Yeah. Tim, I watched. Just and I didn't get to intently watch them, but I had them on in the back. But it's movies I've seen enough to know them. But yeah, I watched White Buffalo.
Oh yeah. We just watched that not long ago too. I think we talked.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah.
And I really like White Buffalo. I still to this day.
I like it because it's weird. I think it's bizarre. I think it's a very
totally
bizarre film. I think it's like David Lynch weird, and I like it.
Yeah,
I like it for that. It's very much a product of when it was made.
Yeah,
those are weird movies coming out. Was it 77 or something? I mean, those were weird movies coming out.
And Dino De Laurentiis,
just putting all of them.
The
Italians always do, buddy.
Yeah, 1 foot in my heart too. Because he's with an Orca.
Yeah. Yep.
Two has, and I won't go too far with this, but it's kind of dreamlike too.
It's weird.
It has like that feel to it, like this. This goes a lot more.
Yeah,
it puts a little bit more on the gas of the weirdness.
Sure,
but it's got our boy in there, Clint Walker too.
Yes, old Clint Chiselchest. Yeah,
it's funny because he's not in it very long at all. But man, he plays a good bad guy. He does, you know. Because he's intimidating already. Yeah. Big fella. And
I'm Bob Boxbody.
Yeah. You're always so used to seeing him playing, the good guy.
Oh, yeah.
Good Jim,
Sure.
and it's I say refreshing, but it is to see him play that role. It's really cool. And
see him as a heel turn. He was a heel turn. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of fun though. I love that movie.
Yeah,
and also I think the Buffalo still kind of works. It's not great.
Boy, they're brash about it though, buddy. They got it right there in front of you.
Yeah.
And I just think if they edited a little tighter, it would hold up more today. I think when it came out, it might have been a little more impressive, but they have a couple of awkward, like, close-ups on the nose.
Yeah. You can tell the head's like, yeah.
If this happened to you when you were young, because these are these things that you just never forget. If you fall asleep watching TV and you wake up to something, and you wake up to that, and you just kind of lay there and watch the rest of the movie, you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Is that Charles Bronson?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, what the hell? It's sort of like waking up and paint your wagons on. Like, what?
I told you I woke up to Piranha 2 this morning with the lady getting eaten by. It went from I was watching the Rolling Stones live, and Ron Wood was running around stage, and next thing I know, I blinked, and then there was a lady being eaten by a flying piranha, and it jarred me. I'll never forget it. I still to this day, It's just like I blinked. I didn't ever know I fell asleep. It was the weirdest thing.
6-pack of beer and cheap commercial marijuana in high school. You know,
I was gonna say, might have had something to do with that too. But
had some Pabst in you.
Yeah, but that's a hell of a way to wake up to a fly in front of eating. So I thought I was being attacked at the time. I didn't even know there was flying prawns at the time.
But no, that's a weird one. What else you got? You got
one that let's see, Timo. Last but not least, Timo. Also, I watched another one of my favorites of all time, and still will always be, and that is Duel. Yes. Now I know Hitchcock. Spielberg was just kind of getting going. He had a lot of Hitchcock influence in that film and stuff, but you could tell that where he was headed. And when I go back and watch that now, I just watch it scene by scene, and I always see new stuff all the time. But man, does that guy know how to lay out a shot? And I know I've said it before, but God grief, man, it's just good. It's like watching a painting come to life in a way, or a drawing. You know what I mean? Like,
I think from what I know about Duel, and I know you know a lot about Duel too, but and you just said it was one of Spielberg's first forays,
feature film, like in the theater, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it went. I think they put it in theaters after TV, but he learned a lot, and he listened to those old timers that were shooting that stuff, and he worked with a lot of veteran Hollywood and movie and television guys. And he didn't want to do inserts. He didn't want to do, and they told him, you need to, it makes sense. You have to. And I think that Spielberg was a very good student, and it served him well.
Yes.
Because a lot of these guys from that did really well for a little bit in the 70s, they fell off. Yeah, they didn't because they knew better than anybody else. And Spielberg, he's not George Lucas. He's not George Lucas. Does that make sense? I mean, he's not. And I don't like a lot of stuff that Spielberg's done. I haven't been very interested in anything he's done for quite a while, but he had a long period there where he was making some really, really good movies, and they were all different kinds of movies, but they all felt like a Spielberg movie, and that's like a Hitchcock.
Felt like a good Hollywood film.
That's true. You know? He was a Hollywood. He was. He carried that torch, but he made it. He made it so that it was identifiable by today's audiences. Yeah, but he allowed. It was brilliant.
And the thing too with him is he got, which was a lot of people. He got there through horror. You know what I mean, in a way. And some of that stuff he did for TV. That wasn't straight horror, but it was tense or not.
The Night Gallery stuff and all that. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was horror. Yeah, that's horror. You know. Yeah.
Which I thought was cool, but I just love watching this movie. And you know, you do kind of have to put yourself in that time period, mostly because of, you know, the cars and stuff and different things. But to me, that still is terrifying today as ever. That's one of the films that Hills Have Eyes, The Hitcher, and, you know, Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that make me not want to drive across country, though I want to.
Right.
I want to see. I want to drive from Toledo all the way to the Pacific Ocean, but I'm scared about certain spots.
You'll feel lonely and pick up Rutger Hauer. Yes, I got you.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, for me, it's congratulations to those movies because they worked.
Yes, they did.
And this is one that has worked, and I love it because to me, it's a precursor to Jaws. Even though I didn't see Duel till after Jaws. But also I remember where I was when I saw Duel, and it was one of those that kept me from going outside because I was just glued to the television, you know. And
you didn't know Spielberg, did you? I didn't know the first time I saw it.
I didn't know. I didn't.
Right, I didn't know either.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. Nope. But it's just that movie has something different. It's terrifying, and what I love about it so much, and I'll just leave it at this, is they don't see the driver. You see bits and pieces, his arm, his foot, you know, his silhouette here and there.
It's a Michael Myers thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what, Timo? I don't feel sorry because the truck's dirty and it needs a washing. I don't feel sorry for it. I don't feel sorry for
empathy, but no sympathy.
No, none whatsoever. And it's awesome, you know.
Right.
Both were from Timo. Both were Blu-rays, White Buffalo and Duel. So
I'm a nice guy, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
I'm not a friendly guy, but I'm sure I'm okay. You know,
Yeah, hey,
I have my perks, I guess. You know?
Right.
Peaks and valleys. That's my nickname. So let's get to our official films, Mr. Ben Harley. Speaking of peaks and valleys and valleys and valleys. And, let's see. Let's do in chronological order this week. So first up, we have the movie Murder in the Museum.
Murder in the Museum, yes, sir.
And I'm still waiting to see a museum, and I'm like 4 days out and watching the movie. But we're gonna. So this is
there wasn't much of a museum in there.
At least not in the modern tongue, anyway. But this is from 1934. 1934. Wow. So let's get out movie guy.
When it started, I thought this was another one of the oldest films, or the first film ever.
Yeah, I think when we put it on, Angio even said like, "Oh my."
Yeah.
you know you're in trouble, and she's no stranger to black and white old movies. So let me get out movie guy and give you a short storyline synopsis here for Murder in the Museum. All right, here we go.
Yes.
When a city councilman is murdered while investigating allegations of drug dealing going on at a somewhat disreputable sideshow, the daughter of the chief suspect teams up with a newspaper reporter to find the real killer. Did it clear it up for
drug dealing going on? I didn't know there was drug dealing going on.
They had a little bit of talk about it. That's what they were kind of snooping around for. They were snooping around for not only... Okay, so...
I thought they were just snooping around for shysters.
Well, okay, so the movie kind of is... they're calling it a museum, but to our eyes, it looks way more like a Coney Island... like sideshow or freak show,
menagerie,
ballyhoo, the old stuff or whatever. Burlesque dancers, before the do-gooders ran them all out of business, leaving them all unemployed. Thank you very much, and thanks for what you're doing today too. By the way, all you do,
exactly.
Right. So you kind of get it. They basically set up where you're at. They show some, I guess, for the time, scantily clad dancers and things of this sort. And there's a couple little clever little moments and stuff. And there's cops about, and they are snooping around the place. And there is some sort of talk about that being some kind of front for drugs or narcotics.
Yeah, they're trying to throw the cops off. The whole time. Yeah.
So. But then, like, in the middle of the cops being there and taking off during one performance one day, a guy gets shot in the middle of the room in front of everybody. But nobody knows who shot him.
Yep.
Nobody knows who shot him. Mr. Ben Harley, Sirhan will go, how the fuck did you get away with that shit? I'm telling you right now, But I knew, though, because if you actually carefully watch the movie, the whole crowd gathers around the corpse. And there's one guy... There's one guy who was like, I told Angio after the scene, I looked over, I was like, I know who did it. Yeah. She's like, how'd you figure this one? I was like, oh, it's just the way the guy looked. And I was right, by the way. So that's exactly who it was. But anyway, so that's a little sidebar note. But then it becomes a whimsical murder mystery.
Yes.
Man.
Love story type.
It's got that going on too. And I mean, it just kind of like, I don't know. It starts off interesting, but you look at a movie like this and then you look at a movie like Freaks.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Freaks is brilliant and amazing and creepy and scary. This is like, this feels exploitive. And there's really not much to exploit in it.
No, they're at a sideshow too. And they don't even sell any really sideshow freaks or nothing.
No.
It's all fake or it's all put on.
Right. And that's a little insulting too, I think.
Yeah, but did you notice too, Timo, all like the famous background paintings of all like the famous like sideshow people over the years. They had Spiderella or something, I think they had all these other posters, and I'm thinking, well, that was cool to get them in the movie, but then I never saw none of them. I was like, oh, okay, well. But then I was thinking, well, maybe they didn't want to because then that would take away from people going to the sideshows. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then there's the 30s rub in this movie, the romance, is when a newspaper reporter just happens to be lurking about. And he just happens to fall madly in love instantly, like they do in the 1930s. Man, boy.
Oh, yeah. Head over heels.
Falls madly in love immediately with, like, one of the cop's daughters or the chief of police or something like that. He's kind of wrapped up.
Hubba, though.
Oh, yeah. But so he's kind of wrapped up. He's one of the suspects, blah, blah, this and that. there needs to there is like a masked Phantom in the film, but he's only there very, very briefly. And as you would say, Mr. Ben Harley, it needed more masked Phantom.
It did. Because we're going in, the cover art for this had a really cool masked Phantom, like a skull-looking, Skeletor-looking thing almost. I was like, wow.
Right.
And I was like, if they can pull this off in black and white, it's going to look cool.
Right.
Not so much.
Well, and then there's like some groaning moments too, where like the new couple, the reporter and the daughter, they're trying to like, you know, they're gumshoes. You know, now they're going to be they're going to figure out what happened. So what do they get the room above the museum, quote, museum? Do they cut a hole? They cut a hole with like a cartoon drill. And then, I mean, come on. I mean, that hole moved around a lot. Because the hole was scanning the room, going back and forth, looking. It was just awful. Very Warner Brothers cartoon esque kind of stuff. And really the only other thing I got out of it was just a big reminder that especially the low budget movies from this era, like in this era of film, like the Poverty Row movies, I mean, people just looked like human powdered donuts.
Oh, thank you, Timo. Oh my God. The main guy, the main gumshoe, or he wasn't gumshoe, but the reporter, man, he looked like
you,
like me. Yeah. Damn near, he was translucent. I'm like, and you know what's so funny? Cause I kept thinking, like, man, did all these old buzzards let them put this much makeup on them too? I was thinking, what? Those old guys are probably thinking, you are putting nothing on me. Because there's some old people in this movie. Well, they were probably in their 30s, but they look like they're 75. But,
well, it's bad because it's that black and white, old black and white. Yeah. You know, and these weren't the highest budget films, and who knows about the lighting. It was helping the lighting out. You know, they actually used to wet the paper in movies so it wouldn't crinkle because the sound was so crap. They really couldn't make a sound in the room, so they would wet the paper. This was like the very beginning of talkies and stuff because it was so the paper would be so loud you wouldn't be able to hear the people talking.
Wow. You know, Tim, I don't know. This one just didn't like it had its moments, but more Masked Phantom would have been good. Even some more, Snidely Whiplash stuff, like you know. But
and they really dropped the ball with the whole freak show thing too, because that wasn't even that was a strip club. That wasn't even like mildly interesting. Like there was
a strip club,
and it was almost like a PC movie. Like they wouldn't use real people in the movie, and that hurt it. Whereas when you go, this movie clearly has some affiliation, not affiliation, but is either a direct result of Freaks or something. You know, I mean, it's just almost like it's forced. It feels forced. The whole movie does, and it's not interesting. It's just not like I knew immediately who killed the dude. It's like the one person with the talent to get away with something in front of everyone. Who could it be in the room at the time? Who could that have been? You know, it's like the guy went, well, he didn't really laugh, but he had a look. Go back and look at it. He'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ. No wonder Timo knew that right away. It's like, you know, but this is, but this is, it breaks the cardinal rule that I have for B movies, Mr. Ben Harley, which is it can't be boring.
Oh, yeah, of course. And this is.
Oh, it's boring.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It had the elements.
Yeah. But the Masked Phantom thing was an interesting idea, but it was almost like it's almost like somebody threw him into a scene and he jumped onto a next movie or something. He floated through space and time. I mean, it was it.
Yeah. They tried a little bit too much of like a Phantom of the Opera type thing.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Short. Yeah, and it fell real short. And I don't know. There was like the acting wasn't so bad in it, but
you never knew who the guy was. Got killed. You didn't care.
No,
I mean, and then like you didn't. I mean, you just didn't really care. These people liked each other. You know, they weren't super likable to begin with. You don't really like that's what I said. There's really nobody likable, and it's just not a very compelling story. It's filler. It's filler. It was something to fill a night in a theater somewhere, you know. And I'm sure people might have had some fun watching it. I mean, it is pre-code, so it is a little spicy for that time. It's a little spicy for that time. I will give it that. There is a couple fun little moments. I did chuckle. There was when they fooled the cops into thinking they were going to see a strip show, and the gal was shaking the brassieres or shaking the underwear.
Yeah, it was shimmy. Come in and see the shimmy. Yeah.
So there's some good stuff in it. It's not, but as far as as far as it being a memorable film, no, I don't think so. And I like these old movies, but this is one of those ones I'm so.
And I think there might have been 1 or 2 sets in the whole film, like and
they drilled a hole through one of them, ruining it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
exactly.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Harley? Yeah, I'm gonna poop on it too.
Yeah, hooray for the poster art for the movie.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because that dude looks awesome. That freaky Masked Phantom dude looked awesome in that picture.
What am I gonna learn, Timo? Just like a bad relationship, right? I'm just never gonna learn.
All right, let's move on, Mr. Ben Holly, to our next official film.
All right, bye.
Next up, we have the shot in 1988, yet not released until 1993 film Trapped Alive, otherwise known as Trapped, and otherwise known as Forever Mine. So it's kind of got, but Trapped Alive.
I get it now.
Is yes. So Forever Mine is the original title that they were using when they were shooting it. I saw this. I believed I saw it as either Trapped or Trapped Alive. It was on VHS, I remember. So it was released basically direct to video is what happened.
Sure.
Let's see. Let me get out. We're just jumping ahead 60 years here. This is okay. By the way, when we were watching, I almost forgot to mention this, and I told you before we were doing the show that there was an epiphany I had, Mr. Ben Harley, while we were watching Murder in the Museum. I actually had the epiphany that I looked over to you and Jim. I said, I bet we're the only people on the planet watching this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, hell, we might be the only 2 this week watching this film. And after the review, it's not going to pick up any. Unless people just drive their taste where ours don't and they're happy. That's fine. Enjoy it. So, but anyway, let me get out movie guy here and get you a storyline synopsis for Trapped Alive. All right, here we go.
Okay. All right.
A sheriff's deputy, some escaped prisoners, and 2 young girls find themselves trapped in a mine shaft where a cannibalistic mutant is hunting them for food. Okay.
Yes.
This movie is one of those ones that I remember.
Okay.
So I was about 20 when I saw this because it came out like 93 on video. I'm sure I rented it right when it came out because it was a new movie. My kind of movie. Mine shaft or a cave, and there's a feral, deformed muncher in there, who's got long, stringy hair and bad fingernails and ripped up clothes and all that. It was shot in Wisconsin. Now, there was a studio up in Wisconsin that got going the late 80s, early 90s. I think some of our friends did a little work. I think Bruce Campbell did maybe Mind Warp or something like that up there.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm not sure if Robert Kurtzman might have pulled a movie up there too or did something, or those guys, I'm not sure. But anyway, so this was shot there. I believe this was their first film that they shot at this new studio, Wisconsin. Okay. I think a couple British guys that started it. Very odd.
Really?
Yeah. Very odd. Yes. But so this was going to be their first feature film. And I'm telling you, this is one of those frustrating movies, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
It's very, very frustrating in multiple ways because what I read to you, or what a movie guy read to you for the storyline is exactly what it is. So you got people escape convicts. They go down in a mine shaft. There's something down there. Man, this is great. This could be like not Mother Lode.
Oh no, yeah. Yeah, wait a second.
Lode. When it comes out on Blu-ray, it's going to be the temptation of all temptation. So, what's the movie I'm thinking of where the women go down in the Descent. The Descent. Yeah. So we could have a Descent here. This could be, but no, this isn't nothing like that. So, first of all, let's talk about the beginning because it's very, very sloppy. Okay.
Yeah.
And the hot rod kid, the little handsome pants there, he's about as awkward as Torgo from Manos.
Oh, and
he has to at least be a distant relative of Chuck Barris.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you move that way, Mr. Ben Harley?
I don't know.
He's got ball bearings in his like spine.
I think so.
Now, in order to anchor this movie, you needed a star, and then they got old poor Cameron Mitchell to spend a few hours filming a Christmas party, and then being borderline sleazy.
Yeah,
and then he takes a nap for a while.
Yeah,
they filmed it.
Drunk too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we have two young ladies. They're going to Cameron Mitchell's party. I think they're on their way to Cameron Mitchell's party, and they get. Go ahead.
The one's his daughter, right? The one is his daughter, and I think they were going to another party, and then she never returned.
Oh, I got you. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got that huge plot point mixed up. Yeah. And it really affects the but you're correct. You're all right. Yeah. Okay, so they get sidetracked, of course, by the convicts.
Yeah,
and then they get stuck down the mine.
Heart, though.
Yeah, I know. And then they get stuck down in the mine, and that's where all the trouble ensues. They go down there and get stuck. So, meanwhile, a smart cop guy, he's kind of on the beat, kind of figuring stuff out, and he ends up at the mine. And then there's a woman who, Ben Harley, I've got a radar for insane women.
Yes.
And it went absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
She's clearly trying to distract the cop and let the people stay down there. Okay. And then, so how does a woman like that?
She takes her top off.
The most abrupt sex scene I've ever seen in a movie, with all of the passion and lust of an episode of Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
And man, what were they doing? Is it possible for a man and woman to scissor? I'm just asking. I don't know these things.
I know. I think that's what they were doing. So
I know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. So then the cop gets down there. He goes down. The lady.
Yeah. He hears the phone. They call the phone.
Yeah.
From down the mine.
Yeah. The emergency phone from the mine still works somehow. So they call up. Yeah. And the cop realizes they're down there, and so he goes down. Of course, the lady traps him down there too. Yeah. She got what she wanted out of him, and now he's trapped down there. And now that's really what's going on in the movie. The point I'm trying to make here is that there's supposed to be a cannibalistic killer.
Yes.
And there is, but you wouldn't know that if you fell asleep until about an hour into the film or so.
Yeah.
There's one little brief kind of, what happened to that dude? There's one guy who kind of bites it right at the beginning.
The convict, yeah.
Yeah, Mongo.
And I was so sorry to see him go. He's like a lovable character.
Yeah, he sure was. So he's dead, and then they come back and find him still dead, and he looks a little worse for wear. And that's about the only hint of anything going on. Yes. Maybe a noise or a clamor here or there, a little point of view shot, but nothing to do anything but to try to remind you you're watching a horror movie and not a thriller, or not just a crime drama.
Yeah.
And that is the major problem I have with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I like everything. I even like the guy. I even like the monster guy who's down there.
Yeah.
Show him, man. He's good.
Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of in between, like the Funhouse guy, maybe, and,
Humongous.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Which is so cool. And
right.
I'm good with that.
Well, my problem with movies like this is that they make one of the convicts into being the real villain.
Yes.
And I don't like that. I don't know. I mean, it diverts away from the horror of the movie.
Yes.
It does. It really diverts. Unless you're doing something like The Thing, John Carpenter, where you could be the killer.
Exactly.
Oh, come on. Of course he's an asshole. He's a convict. Can we get over it?
Yeah, he just got the clink.
Yeah.
Of course he's sex crazed.
Yeah. So, well, do you blame him? So things did pick up there toward the end when I looked at these two ladies. I was like, if me and Ben Harley were single fellas, and if we picked out ladies, I know which one he'd pick out. I know which one I would pick out. You would pick out the dark haired one, and I'd pick out the other one, and we'd be very happy. Both of us would.
Yes.
And so it did pick up a little bit when it comes to that. But man, when you see this monster guy and you realize how little of the film, it's almost like a subplot.
Yeah. And it's just like, there is so much downtime in this film as far as, they try to fill with some chitter chatter because of the good convict, the good-hearted convict who's there because of a bad, he shouldn't be there, that thing. And,
right.
But then, like, the monster has these, like, they're like claw or tongs, or it's on a.
Oh, it's ice pick. It looks like an ice. It looks like an ice pick, or no, an ice claw grabber.
Claw, yeah. And
now I know what they're called.
And it's very slow. It goes like chink, 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 and so when he finally secures somebody or gets someone, or to swoop them off and eat them or whatever. It is the longest, most boring. There's 2 scenes where I was like, okay, seriously, you got to speed this up, man. Because he gets them, and then you sit there and watch, and it's like this is chink, 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 and he's going up. Okay, chink, 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 chink. Okay, then 10 minutes later, chink, 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 chink. You're like, oh my god, that was killing me. Literally, it was like, this is ripping my heart out. I thought to myself, who was not sitting around saying, no, that's taking way too long. You got to either speed that up or you got to do something. Or because I was like, I wasn't scared of the monster guy at all. And then there's one part where it's supposed to be some terror where like they finally kind of get a way out. There's a gate and they pull the gate up, but one of the guy's legs gets hurt because the gate comes crashing down and my girlfriend gets caught and she can't get out. But it's funny because this gate that they have, the girl could have fit through. She's skinny enough, first off.
Yeah.
She could have just wiggled through these bars, but then they made it like, oh no, and the monster's coming. And then they're like, oh, the monster's got her. And then chink, 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 they're going, taking her up. And then like, oh God. And it's just, there's no tension. I'm sorry.
No,
there's like zero tension in this movie. Except for the weird lady when she was talking weird to the cop at the beginning.
Well, the funny thing is they really set that twist up to the point where it's like you can see it coming from 100 miles away. Yeah. I mean, you're like, all right, right away. Can you say overacting? Yeah. Oh my God, exactly. Does that woman overact? But you're right. Like, not unlike the murders in the museum or murder in the museum needed more masked Phantom. This needed more deformed, mask challenged Phantom. It needed more, like way more. And I think it would be okay. See, when I remember watching this movie, remember 93, we're way past the golden era. I mean, we're way past it, and now this was shot in 88, which is still kind of past it. But when I saw it, I remember the cover was really bad. I mean, really bad. The cover art for it was. Okay. And I remember putting it in thinking, you're 20 years old and you're running a movie where girls are in their underwear on the cover. Yeah. All right. So you're not expecting to be, you're expected to be stimulated, but normally not psychologically, really much.
Right, yeah.
No, and I remember when I put it in, I kind of was like, well, this movie isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. This was 1993. Remember putting it in, thinking this was going to be basically porn, and I'm watching going, wow, hey, okay, now watching it, I'm like, oh, geez, man, it's so much potential here. I don't think they were very bad actors. I think the tall, skinny guy, I don't know what was wrong with him. I feel sorry for him. He needs help.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't know what was wrong with that guy. But the acting wasn't bad. The sets were good. The lighting was awful. This is one of those movies where take the blue light out and give some creepy shadows.
Yeah.
Seriously. Exactly. I mean, like, God, it took so much tension away just to have those lights in there. Yeah. I mean, it's a cave. It's a mine.
I know, and it was so brightly lit the whole time. Mm-hmm. The whole time. I don't know. It had the elements. And actually, even though like that girl's the overacting, she to me was creepy enough. I kind of dug her. I think they could have used her a little bit more, but they only because of the big twist at the end, which wasn't a twist, I think that's why they kept her under wraps a little bit more. But I think she'd have been better down there a little bit more. You know, I don't know.
I didn't really buy all the friction between the characters too. No, it all seemed real forced and real fake and real like synthetic or whatever. It did. Now we're talking about a low budget horror movie about a cannibal living in a mine. I mean, so maybe be a little forgiving, but then again, I mean, there's My Bloody Valentine, which is a great movie, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff. And then you have this, which it could be so much better than what it is. I don't hate this movie. You know, it sat on a shelf for a while. You can see why. I think somebody earnestly tried. And when you think about that, this was the first attempt to make a feature film at a brand new studio in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
By two British guys.
In Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, I give it credit for what it is. It's not a good movie. I'm not going to recommend it, but it's interesting to see. I can't say I'm sad I watched it. I actually found the special features on the disc to be more interesting than the movie itself, to be honest with you. I did enjoy going back and watching it, seeing it again, because it was kind of a lost movie. I remember seeing it back then, and it bothered me because I couldn't see it again. No matter how good or bad it is, it bothered me. I couldn't see it, you know? Well, sometimes you watch something again, it's much better. And it did surprise me a little bit back then. So if you can put yourself in my shoes back then, watching it going, maybe the girls in the underwear and the boobs didn't hurt at all. But the fact there was some story around it, and I thought that the acting was okay. Like I said, the guy just physically moved really weird. The young kid, I guess, did or whatever. But he wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad actor.
Well, it's funny. Is it like, what was his name? Like Cruiser or some kind of something? Because he knows how to drive cars. He's the worst driver ever. He's the one that drove him into the damn mine. It was awful. Man. Like,
Hot Rod. It was Hot Rod.
Hot Rod, yeah.
Yeah. So Cameron Mitchell, he's playing it straight. He's playing it straight. And I respect these old these old stars when they get in these movies, even today. You see it a lot today. Thank God there's so many more movies being made today. At least these guys can work. I don't know if they're getting paid a lot, but at least they can work, you know, a little bit now and stuff. But they play it so straight, and they were smart enough to know the only shot this movie has is if I play it straight. Because if I look like I'm going to ruin the movie if I look like this, you know. So. I'm still going to on the movie, but not. Me too. I don't hate it though. It's just not a good movie. It is a curious film to watch. The women are gorgeous, and I think. I mean, I'm not being a pig by saying. I mean, they're really like very beautiful women in it. So I mean, the guy. I mean, like the main bad guy. You know, the prisoner. You know, the convict. Yeah. He wasn't that bad of an actor. He was an interesting guy. He had an interesting look to him.
Smarmy enough.
Yeah. And matter of fact, that was supposed to be Michael Berryman.
Was it really?
Michael Berryman, like I think the guy that played Face, the guy that played the main bad guy, I believe started shooting about 7 hours after he was asked to do the movie or something like that.
Really?
So he jumped right in and started being smarmy like that. Yeah, they didn't get along with Michael Berryman. So believe it or not, I think it was an artistic thing. Michael's a very friendly guy. I think it was an artistic thing that they weren't meshing with him or something. But I think that guy was right for the part though. It's just not a great movie, but it is interesting for what it is. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Harley? Yeah, I figured. You don't give a shit about how interesting it is or not.
No.
I gave you boobs. I gave you the boobs. You would never have seen those boobs, Mr. Ben Harley.
I'd have given it a big if there weren't boobs. So I only gave it one.
I got you. Okay. So you're being gentle with it.
The chain took it out all for me. Well, I wanted to get picked up by that chain or that ice thing or fucking whatever. To me, it was almost laughable at one point. I was like, I could imagine at the guys Mystery Science or Riff Tracks right now, what they would be saying about this.
Oh God. Yeah. Good try, guys. Look, it's a good try, but I'm not going to lie and say it's not. It's not. I mean, it's just like some of the 50s movies. When they're bad, they're bad, and this one just clunks along too slow. You could have made this an hour and 15 minutes long. All right, Mr. Ben, let's get the hell out of here. That's what we're doing next week, but I think we're going to be very excited because it's going to be the end of chemo and radiation for Angio, and the end of us reporting back on it until we get any kind of other news, and we're just going to get back to movies and stuff and get back and rolling, Mr. Ben Harley, as I say. So until next week, stay spooky. And we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.